Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk, and here I have the Nokia E72, which is the one of the latest handsets from Nokia. We obviously looked at the E71 not so long ago, and this is kind of the newer version of that, if you like. And the handset is immediately inside and on top. So we'll look at that in a bit more detail in just a second. Having a look at what else is in the box first. So we have a case, which we'll just unpack carefully, and it's pretty standard, very similar to that we find in fact with the E71. It's a slip style pouch, no belt loop or anything like that. It's not designed for actually connecting to your clothing or anything, just for protecting the handset. Then we have a wrist strap or a kind of lanyard style loop there that just connects onto the handset. Let's just pull all the other accessories out. And out the other end. There we go. Right, that's emptied the box. Let's just take a look then. So we have the charger, which is one of the small style Nokia chargers. It's pretty common now with the Nokia handsets. This one's a European charger because we have an early European version of the E72 to look at. We then have a battery, which is pretty large. It's a 1500 milliamp hour battery, the standard Nokia BP4L. Look at that. We'll have to install that in just a moment. We then have a wired headset, which looks kind of interesting. Haven't seen one quite like this before from Nokia. So we have a standard 3.5mm 4-pole jack on one end, which is good to see. So it means that we can use our own headphones if we want to. Then we have some pretty interesting looking in-ear style headphones that have this white ring around them, which means that we can actually change them for different sizes, that there are some different ones there. Whoops, there are some different ones there supplied, so if you've got different sizes of ears, obviously. Then we have this inline block, which has a lock switch and a clip for clipping onto clothing, and up and down volume controls or rocker. It does look like it wants to come apart, but we'll not pull it too much, but that's the inline microphone portion. We then have a very short USB to micro USB cable for, I guess, sync and charge. And then we have what looks like a cleaning cloth, which we'll just have a look at to just double check that. Let's open that up. Yeah, indeed, it is just a small cleaning cloth for cleaning the display. Well, I guess Nokia have accepted the fact that holding a phone to your ear does make it get dirty, so I guess that's cool that it comes with it. Then have the international warranty and OV guide. Then we have the manual itself. Sorry, the manual itself, and then another Nokia. This is basically the getting started. These are in not in English. Neither of these are in English. As I say, this is an early model that we're looking at, which isn't the full English version. So let's take a look at the handset. We do have a very tiny forward-facing camera for video conferencing. Then the display. There's a 2.36-inch 320 by 240 pixel quarter VGA display. Obviously, it's not touchscreen. Below that has a series of soft keys, home and calendar button, contacts and an email button, and then the phone keys, the send and end phone keys. Then we have a nice full QWERTY keyboard, pretty similar to the E72 in pretty much every respect, but it's just a little bit nicer, slightly different design, and does I think it does look quite nice. Keyboard is quite nice. It feels quite good, quite tactile. It has a nice kind of tick to it, without being too much, and is, large enough that we could use 2 thumbs for a little bit of speed texting there, and small enough that you can get around it with one hand and just one thumb there actually around the keyboard. On the left hand side we have a cover over the micro USB sync and charge connector, and another cover over the micro SD memory card, which is kind of fiddly to remove, but it's quite tight. It comes with a 4 gig micro SDHC memory card. As I say, that's quite quite tight even for a micro SD memory card. Let's pop that back in. That does obviously come supplied. On the bottom we have the connector there for the charger, and then the eyelet there is where we can actually fix a phone charm or wrist strap or whatever. On the right hand side we have an up and down sort of volume control, and then a push button in the centre, which is actually sort of like an enter or an OK button. On the top we have the power button, and then the headphone socket, which as I say is a 3.5mm headphone socket, which does allow us to use our own headphones as well as using the headset that comes with it, supplied by Nokia. On the back, a 5-megapixel autofocus camera with a flash, which is quite good. There is no mirror for self-portrait, but the back here is extremely shiny, so for taking pictures of yourself, that can be done. Mirror finish back, which does look quite nice. I think it offsets the accents around the bezel there, which does look quite classy with the black and silver. I think that looks quite good. Back cover pops off like so, just by pulling down the notch at the bottom. Back cover pops off like so. SIM card just goes in under this space here with a little tray that helps us to remove that, and then the battery obviously fits in there like so. That cover then goes back on, clips into place, and just secures that quite nicely. Let's just power up and quickly run down the rest of the hardware specification. 114mm from top to bottom, 58mm wide, and only 10mm thick. As you can see, it is quite a slim looking handset. As I say, I think that's quite stylish. Let's just go through the setup in the United Kingdom, and we'll OK on the date and the time. Don't really care at the moment, we'll just skip through that and just let that go through the rest of that. 128 grams, so quite light, but interestingly that 128 grams does feel quite weighty. I know it sounds perhaps strange, but 128 grams doesn't sound like a lot, but in my hand it's feeling quite weighty. I wouldn't say heavy, but certainly substantial perhaps. The 320/240 display, as I say, is 2.36 inches in diagonal. Not the biggest of displays available obviously on the market on a QWERTY, forward-facing QWERTY keyboard device, but not too bad nonetheless. There's 250 meg of internal storage and 128 meg of RAM. But obviously it does come with that 4GB memory card, so you can put quite a large amount of music on there, and also your photos and videos can obviously be put on there. It is quad band for GSM and dual band for HSDPA, so it will probably serve you pretty much wherever you're going to go throughout the world roaming with it, so that's quite good. We do have built-in Wi-Fi 802.11b and G, and Bluetooth 2 with A2DP support. The OS is Symbian 9.3, and it's a Series 60 v3.2 user interface, and the processor is an ARM11 600MHz CPU. Built-in FM radio with RDS support, which is also quite good, and also GPS and Nokia Maps pre-installed, and this model does also have a digital compass, so it's good to see that manufacturers are adding that digital compass on. I think it's quite useful. Standby time is listed at 480 hours and talk time up to 12.5 hours, so that's quite good also. So let's just skip through here. It's actually telling me that I can only make emergency calls because I don't have a SIM card. Well, that's fine. And it's asking me to set up my phone and my internet, which I don't want to do just at the moment. I don't want to check for updates, and I don't want to be reminded later at the moment. So as you can see on display here, the user interface is pretty common. We see this on many of the Nokia handsets with the icons along the top for email, clock, Nokia Maps, I'm not sure what that one is, notes, and then we have our internet, and then we have the final icon on the end is switch to personal. So we have different modes, which we've seen on a couple of other devices sort of more recently, that we can switch between a work and a personal mode. So this being the work mode, where we have things more typically work orientated, such as email, navigation, that sort of thing. And then we can switch to the personal mode, and then we have things like media and video and chat, for example, which is I guess typically more social rather than business, and we can switch back to business. So that's just a different way of displaying the information, and keeping work items for work and personal items for personal. So that's quite cool. We pop into the main menu, and the main menu is again pretty much the same as we see on most Nokia devices at the moment. We have contacts, calendar, the OV store, control panel applications, and our email setup. Again, as I say, all pretty standard stuff. We'll cover all of this sort of thing when we come to do the full review for you, which will be on site on tracyandmatt.co.uk over the next couple of weeks. We'll spend some time looking at the E72. We're going to be comparing it to some of the other forward-facing QWERTY devices that we have at the moment, such as the Samsung Omnia Pro and also the BlackBerry 9700 that we have at the moment. We're going to compare those and see how they actually stack up one against the other, and see which one sort of kind of comes out ahead in our opinion, bearing in mind it is just an opinion. So that will be on tracyandmatt.co.uk over the next couple of weeks. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter, and on Twitter we are just Tracy and Matt, and also on Facebook we have a Facebook fan page which is tracyandmatt.co.uk. You might want to follow us on either of those two at the moment because we are running a pretty big competition on the run up to Christmas, so definitely worth checking out because we have some great prizes to give away. So head over to tracyandmatt.co.uk for the full rundown of that. If you've missed any of those details, just check the intro and the outro slides from this video, which will actually show you what to do.